everybody, welcome back to another episode of Healthy Habits. My name is Michael Serpell, and this week we will be talking about the importance of maintaining social connections and ways that we can deal with stress and anxiety during the current lockdown period that we find ourselves in. Please note, the episode does mention mental health, so if you or someone you know needs support, please contact Headspace via their website, www.headspace.org.au, Beyond Blue on 1300 22 46 36, or Lifeline on 13 11 14. Now, for this week's episode, we've brought in the expert voice of an RMIT student from the School of Health and Biomedical Sciences. Our special guest has done tutoring and marking for students within the College of Science, Engineering and Health, and she's a person who represents one of the greatest families in the world. Her name is Catherine Serpell. Catherine, welcome to you. Firstly, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Thank you, Michael, for having me. I pronounce it Serpell, but no judgment to any other variations of that pronunciation.
There you go. Isn't that incredible? The English language throws up so many possibilities, doesn't it? I do always give a round of applause to someone who can pronounce my surname correctly, as a lot of people go to Serpell, as you mentioned there. So no round of applause for you today, unfortunately, Catherine.
No problem.
Catherine, tell us about your role at RMIT and what are your future aspirations beyond study?
Yeah, so I'm currently a tutor and marker at RMIT. So I am a tutor of environmental psychology, which is a first-year subject, and psychopathology, which is a third-year subject. I did both my bachelor and honours at RMIT and my honours thesis, and my future aspirations include pursuing a master's in psychology. So hopefully that's next year, fingers crossed. And I'd really love to do group-based therapy. I sort of got that a little bit from tutoring, really like working with a group. And I also volunteer with Eating Disorders Victoria, which is another area I'd love to specialise in.
Sounds like some truly wonderful aspirations there, Catherine. As you mentioned, hopefully you will be back next year to do your master's. So what did a usual day in the life of Catherine Serpell look like when you were on campus at RMIT?
Well, I was on campus a lot. I really liked being there. I liked sort of, getting out of the house and working, studying in different environments. So I was a big user of the library for study, a big fan of the Silent Zone. I love that area. It's really nice to just have that peace and quiet in the middle of the city, which is, really nice. I also really liked the yoga classes that Rusu offered. Just those free sort of 1 hour. I think they do it about two days a week. That was great to just do alongside study, really relax, have a bit of a break, and get some exercise as well.
So with the current restrictions not allowing us to see our friends and family from outside our households, and border restrictions not allowing us to see our loved ones interstate or potentially overseas, why is it so important to maintain social connections during this lockdown period?
It certainly is an unprecedented time. Whilst it is really quite difficult to socialise, we really do need that social connectedness more than ever to help us cope with what we're all going through. Humans are social creatures. It really is a need, social connectedness. And, meaningful social relationships are one of our greatest tools to cope with adversity and difficult times. It's a really important protective factor of mental ill health, as well as, promoting just general well-being. To illustrate that point a little bit further, loneliness due to social distancing has been found as quite a major risk factor to the combination of both depression and anxiety. There are plenty of reasons why it is so important to maintain our social connections during this period. So, social media can get a bit of a bad rap. It's important for connecting with others, and so putting in that effort to maintain relationships is also renewing friendships. It's not only good for your own well-being, but you're also helping someone else out as well.
That's absolutely correct. Definitely social media can get a bad rap, but as you mentioned correctly, it's a brilliant platform to maintain your connections with your loved ones, especially those possibly thousands of miles away as well. Now, what are some strategies for coping with stress at university, and especially during the lockdown period? What are some ways you can apply those strategies to your home environment?
Great question. So some helpful strategies that I've come up with. So I would really recommend to-do lists. I think they're a little bit underrated. Some people feel like they can self-manage without necessarily writing it down, but that's taking up mental space. Because you're trying to manage that, it can feel really overwhelming, and it can feel like perhaps more than what it really is. So by writing it down, you're freeing up that mental space and energy to actually do what needs to get done. Another thing I'd recommend is setting small achievable goals which specify how you'll achieve your goal. For example, an assignment. So your goal may be writing a specific number of words per day for an assignment, and that gives you a plan to achieve your assignment by the due date. You should also really reward yourself after you achieve each goal, and it should be something, really rewarding for yourself. So that might be, your favorite TV show, or some really yummy food that, brings you a lot of joy. So something that's, really positive for you.
Lots of chocolate, Catherine.
All the chocolate. I'd also really recommend trying to minimize distractions in your environment. So, potentially putting away your phone in a different room, or, just letting your household members know that you're needing some time. Also seeking support from the people you're living with, as well as planning independent time. Without giving one another space will strain any relationship. And my last suggestion is the Headspace app. I can't sort of promote this enough, and it's a free app. It's super accessible. It's really user-friendly as well. It's got some cute little animations, and it's really good for someone who's never, necessarily tried meditation and mindfulness. They're all guided. That deep breathing can really help the body relax and allow you to become more productive.
Another good strategy is to watch the Healthy Habits series every Tuesday on the RMIT YouTube page.
Yeah.
Now, Catherine, what are some good strategies for coping with anxiety? And how can students prevent themselves in some of the most extreme scenarios from having a panic attack?
Great question. A lot of students, and people generally, suffer from anxiety. Just before we sort of get into that, I just wanted to discuss a little bit, what is anxiety, as well as an important disclaimer about anxiety, which is that it can be helpful. It's what, essentially motivates us to do things. And, we experience anxiety because we care about things, which is not necessarily a bad thing. In saying that, when it does become unhelpful, it certainly needs professional treatment to help manage. So clinical anxiety, that can be defined as a highly unpleasant, often vague sense of apprehension or foreboding, accompanied by changes in bodily responses and behaviour. It's a very physical experience, and often very future orientated as well. So, thoughts and feelings about what if. And panic attacks, like you mentioned, Michael, they're closely related to anxiety and are extremely distressing. They can be caused by specific triggers or nothing at all. And the symptoms of those, include shortness of breath, heart palpitations, heavy perspiration, trembling, shaking, weakness or dizziness, chills, hot flushes, and even a fear of dying or losing control. Some people who experience a panic attack for the first time can actually feel like they're having a heart attack and call emergency services, sort of highlighting it is a very physical experience. When they actually continue to happen, those panic attacks, they can stop becoming the product of anxiety and start becoming the source of anxiety. So people will actually start becoming anxious about having a panic attack. And for anyone experiencing panic attacks, I would recommend seeing your GP and seeing a psychologist. They will be able to help with strategies of managing your anxiety, as well as reducing that incidence of panic attacks. And some other sort of helpful resources that Michael mentioned earlier as well is Lifeline on 131114, as well as Headspace as well. They're really great resources.
And for all those students out there who are proud members of a sporting club, either at RMIT or externally, what are some good activities they can do if they are missing their regular seasonal training sessions and games?
For those students, I can imagine it's been quite difficult, to have that, regular fun exercise, as well as that, sense of community really taken away. Some things to do in the meantime, certainly running, exercising, or practicing at your local park. So still maintaining that exercise that you're used to, and also seeing it as a bit of an opportunity to really improve your general fitness and overall skills, so that when we do get back to a new normal and you can see that sporting community again, your skills are still up to date or even better than they were before.
So playing multiplayer on FIFA 21 isn't exactly the best way to get yourself ready for another season of soccer.
Well, maybe for strategies.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Probably not just FIFA, but also some other things would be some home workouts. So YouTube is really good for that, as sort of like a free resource, as well as connecting with your teammates.
If there are any students out there that are feeling overwhelmed or haven't been feeling themselves during this lockdown period, who can they reach out to within the university for emotional support?
Within the university, there's quite a few resources. First, I'd recommend just reaching out to a friend or your tutor or lecturer who you feel comfortable with. Some other options would be RMIT has a crisis support line, which is a 24/7 phone number, and that number is 1300 305 737. You can also text in as well, and that's 0488 884 162. So some other options on campus is the RUSU, RMIT University Student Union. They provide several services such as the Compass Welfare Drop-In Centre. They also do free wellness events. They have queer rooms and women's rooms as well. So you can find more information about that if you like at rusu.rmit.edu.au. RMIT also provides support through the counselling service, the Negara William Centre for Indigenous students as well. And they also have some mentoring programs. So you can find out some more information about that at rmit.edu.au/students.
Finally, Catherine, the last few weeks we've heard the top 5 healthy eating tips from Susie, Vince's top must-do daily exercises and stretches, Emilio's top 5 exercises to alleviate muscle and joint stiffness for sitting all day. Bit of a long title there. And today, I am excited to introduce Catherine's top 5 steps to feeling happy, productive, connected, calm, and zen. Catherine, I'm very, very excited to hear your top 5 tips today.
Thanks, Michael. Okay, so my top 5 steps. First one is having something to look forward to. If you can, plan for a fun activity that you enjoy and try and sort of maintain some excitement as well as, reward as well. And that might just be cooking something new, playing some online games with friends, something that's, you're like, yep, this weekend I'm going to do XYZ.
Lots of chocolate. I'm just going to keep throwing that in there. Just plenty of chocolate.
All the chocolate.
Oh yeah. Just watch out for the zits.
My second step is maintaining a routine. So, this can sort of help us separate work and uni from time at home. Maintaining, your typical work day or, at least like a consistent meal times and sleep schedules is really important. Take regular breaks as well. So try some deep breathing and gentle movements like stretching or yoga. Limiting screen time. It really is important to schedule in some breaks of that because we know that prolonged screen time can be really harmful. So try limiting it before bed and planning hobbies as well that aren't screen-based. For example, obviously exercise and some board games and those sorts of things as well.
Yeah, board games are a very, very good suggestion for this period of time. Now, Catherine, you haven't fallen into any board games recently, have you? Because I've noticed the plant in the background. It's not from Jumanji.
No, it's not, but I appreciate the compliment because I'm very proud of this one. It's really healthy and just keeps growing. So, and my final step, which is probably my favorite, is just being kind to yourself as you would a friend. So we can have some really harsh language and thoughts about ourselves and they can be really unhelpful. So, thinking about how you'd speak about your friend, your good friend, if they're going through a difficult time and sort of applying that same language to yourself. And
Catherine, where can our lovely viewers find you if they have any further questions about the topics that we discussed today?
You can find me on my LinkedIn, Catherine Serpell, or, happy for anyone to get in touch with me via email as well. My email is catherine.serpell@rmit.edu.au.
Thank you so much for that information, Catherine. And thank you for your time today. Stay happy, healthy, and safe during this period of time. And is there any other overall messages that you'd love to leave with us?
Thanks, Michael. And yeah, just one final point. I do just want to say that, lockdown, it's not a normal situation and there's no sort of perfect way to cope. So it's okay if you're not feeling as motivated or productive as you like, just try your best and really take care of yourself during this time.
That is a brilliant message. Make sure you play plenty of board games, climb some vines, do some extracurricular activities, and keep that smile on your face. That is brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today, Catherine.
Thanks, Michael. Take care.
Remember, you can find all of our new episodes of Healthy Habits via the RMIT Sports website, our RMIT Sports YouTube channel, and our RMIT Sports Instagram page as well at RMIT Sports. Thank you for watching today. We'll see you next week on Healthy Habits.